What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Wednesday, January 22nd, 2025, and we are back with another live here on the Torian Rain Reloaded channel. If you have not done so already, please be sure to go ahead and hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button, and if you are new to the channel, I'm glad that you were here. Make sure to hit the bell twice to be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live, or you can just simply join the Discord just in case the notification does not go out to you. So y'all see the title. Y'all knew I was going to talk about it, and if you didn't, you know now. We're going to be talking about the situation between Jasmine Crockett and Nancy Mace that went down on that floor last week, and the response to it as well. And I'm sure some of you, if not all of you in this chat, have already seen the video, but we're going to go into that video and talk some more about it, plus some other things as well. But before we go ahead and get started, let me shout out to those who are here so far in the chat. We got Dimple Face, one of many ancestral incarnations, Hacksign KT, Reparations Nations, Irvin Green, Hurricane Nisi, SD Johnson, Brother Man to You, Dark Titan, Mahako, RDRD, Brooklyn Queen, Pierre Holmes, Kazuma Fury, Tamika's Den, Tangy2936, Pierre Holmes, Sister Moon 1, Miriam R, PD That Remains, FBA Love, Stuns, Cornelius Green. He says, apparently, according to Cornelius, I am a shield for white neoliberals. I don't even know what that even means, but I mean, if that's your assessment, so be it. Stolen Ancestors 1526. My digital auntie is in the building. We got Don P, the My Voice channel, RDRD, a DSB Gamers Den AW1, Lana L, Harley Lynn, Lady Messenger, Kid Gravity, and I guess that is it. Oh, and Gina just popped in here as well. Okay, shout out to each and every person in here. So the first thing we're going to do is the obvious. We're going to go ahead and play the video that went viral on social media, more so X than anything, because I think that's where I found it at. I keep telling y'all, some of the best content you can find and get will come off of that Twitter platform. So let me just go ahead and let it play out, and then we will go over it in a second.
She gonna keep saying trans, so that people will feel threatened. And child, listen, I want y'all to
am
tell
no
me
child.
whether or
Do
not
call me a child. I am no child.
I want
Don't
to
even
find
start.
out
I am a grown
which
woman.
of those
I am 47 years
emails
old. I have broken
actually
more
have.
glass ceilings than you
Chairman,
ever
I
will
am
in my
reclaiming my
life.
time.
You will not do that.
Order.
I am not a child.
I am reclaiming my time.
If you want to take it outside,
Mr. Chairman, the committee is not in order.
Order.
Point of order.
Order.
Okay, so y'all just heard that right there. Shout out to DSB for gifting the membership, and the lucky recipient it went to was Lana L. So shout out to Lana L for becoming a member of the channel for the month, all thanks to DSB. So we just saw the video right there. I'm gonna let it play again so we can break it down. Like I said, it was a very quick clip. Like I said, I'm sure many people in here have already seen this video because it went around the world so many times. But let's play it again, and do it this time with the pauses in there so we can break down what is going on here.
She gonna keep saying trans, so that people will feel threatened. And child, listen.
So the topic of discussion was about trans, or as we like to call over here, Hall T issues right here. And this, you can tell this is kind of like, it's cut from a much longer video, but this is the part right here, the meat of the video that everyone kept talking about for the most part, where Jasmine Crockett was going back at Nancy Mace on the Hall T issue, because, and we're going to get into that because it's a backstory with Nancy Mace and the way and the reason why she feels the way that she does when it comes to Hall T. And Jasmine Crockett said, child, listen. Now, anybody over here knows that, especially if you are a Black woman and if you're from the South, but I think it's become more universal at this point, but especially in the South, because that's where I think it started at. Child is not the same thing as saying child, like a little kid. Child is just a term of expressing, like, how a woman would say girl or oh God or Lord. What are you talking? Like, I feel like I don't even have to explain that to y'all because y'all already know what it is. We've all heard that term before. We've used it. Shout out to Tamika's Den for basically being one of the main ones I can think of that actually uses that terminology a lot. Cornelius said this is foolishness and Crockett is a shield for white neoliberals. Let me just say something right now. This video isn't about her views. It's calling out blatant hypocrisy. I don't know if you could tell by the title, but this video or this stream has nothing to do with Jasmine Crockett or even Nancy Mace's views. This is calling out the hypocrisy. I should have gave that disclaimer at the beginning of the live because I knew it was going to be that one person. There's always one that will try to interject something there. So Cornelius, I hope you understand what this stream is about. This is not even me defending Jasmine Crockett because I really don't even care for Jasmine Crockett like that. However, when I see this and I see the response, I'm going to call that out. Now, if you interrupt again, I'm going to let my mods deal with you. Now, back to our regular scheduled programming. As I was saying before I was interrupted, Nancy Mace, we all know how she is. Nancy Mace, in my opinion, is right up there with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Maybe a little bit below Marjorie, but she's up there. She's definitely in that Karen zone for sure. And we'll see, and you'll see what I mean in a second.
I want y'all to
I am
tell
no
me
child.
whether or
Do
not
not call me a child. I am no child.
I want
Don't
to
even
find
start.
out
I am a grown
which
woman.
of those
I'm 47 years
emails.
old.
Now, here's the crazy part. Nancy Mace is from the Carolinas. I'm not sure if it's from North or South Carolina, but she's from the South, which means she had to have heard that terminology before, or maybe she doesn't have any black girlfriends. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. But she's from the South. So how would you not know what that was when Jasmine said that? And you know she wasn't calling you a child. So you made a big deal, like you blew this thing up for nothing, just so you could garner attention. And shout out to Brooklyn Queen for the 5. They said somebody learned a new vocabulary word, and now they're going hand by using it in every sentence. Right. And she blew it, and she made a mountain out of a molehill. And Nancy, let me be real here. Nancy is very strategic, and my digital auntie, just literally took the words right out of my mouth. She said Nancy just wanted to get a soundbite. That's literally what it was. She knew that it was going to get a certain base to gravitate towards her because a lot of people already don't like Jasmine Crockett as it is. They already don't like her as it is. Many of them already have this thing of, oh, she's ghetto. Why does she always flip her hair so much? Why is she wearing a weave and all this type of stuff like that? And what's crazy is when you look at the response from the people who are saying something, they had more heat for Jasmine Crockett saying child than Nancy Mace when she said, let's take it outside. This woman literally said that she wanted to go outside. Now, any of us in this chat knows what that means. When anybody says, let's take it outside, it's not to talk. It's to throw them hands. It's to get physical. It's to get violent.
Actually
glass ceilings.
Chairman,
Order,
I am
please.
reclaiming my
Let's go.
time.
You will not do that.
Order.
I am not a
Chairman,
child.
I am reclaiming my time.
If you want to take it outside,
Mr. Chairman, the committee.
And look at Nancy. See that little tantrum she threw? Look at, see what she just did? She threw her mic down. I mean, she slammed it down like that. And I'm sure that might cost money that she didn't pay for. And if it was to malfunction, she probably wouldn't pay for it because they'll have to pay for it. But she just kind of, let's take it outside, and just to slam her mic to the side of the table. What have I told y'all? Ratchet and ghetto does not have a color. They'll like to believe that it does, but it does not. Ratchet and ghetto can apply to any person. Shoot, let's look back to last year when Jasmine checked Marjorie Taylor Greene, when AOC was saying, oh, girl, baby girl. where was y'all hearing that from first before when that's how you know AOC be hanging out with a lot of black women, because she didn't. I'm laughing just thinking about it. I thought that was so funny. And AOC's not black. But Nancy Mace literally just said, let's take it outside. We know exactly what that means. But before we get into the next clip, let's go through some of these comments, because we're going to be going through quite a few comments today. So we have this one person right here whose name is Trails Universe, formerly Trails World, who said, all Jasmine do is fish for sound bites to go viral. She's extremely performative, and you can tell because in every viral video, she stayed doing the most. She uses her position in politics to boost her social media presence, so when her career is over, she can get on baddies. So that's what one person had to say as it pertained to Jasmine. Again, completely dodging what Nancy Mace literally just said. She said, let's take it outside. Someone said, y'all lying by omission. Child is child however, she wasn't using it like that here and is addressing the audience anyways. Mace is definitely still disastrously unprofessional for a person in Congress. Another person said, this is why stereotypes exist. Someone said those hair flips are annoying for some reason. Another person said Boondocks would have done an episode on this. Another person said she is so DEI. Again, what did we talk about yesterday with the DEI thing? This person called Jasmine Crockett, she's so DEI. We know what that stands for. You know what? I can't wait for DEI, or as I like to call her, Dee, to bite the people in the rear end who are so against it, who are so for it to be done away with. I can't wait for it to turn around and bite them, because the same thing happened with affirmative action. When the Asian American community wanted to get rid of affirmative action, they spun the block less than a week later and was crying the blues because they thought it was coming after us. We kept telling them we were not the biggest benefactors of affirmative action, but they kept sitting up there claiming like that we were, and now look at them. Someone said, I don't know, the way both are talking sounds so unprofessional. What I noticed is that you're either going to have people that already have a bias against Jasmine Crockett that are going to be against her regardless. You're going to have some people that are going to call out Nancy Mace. And then you're going to have some people say that they were both wrong because they don't want to just call out Nancy Mace. And it goes on and on and on. I don't have to go through any more of those. But what I found to be even more interesting, and this right here is a video I don't think many people saw, is the response from Comer. Now listen to what the response was after the incident happened between Jasmine Crockett and Nancy Mace. If you can look at this imagery right here, you'll notice that Nancy Mace and Jasmine Crockett are absent from there. Like they're not there. So they probably went separate ways. Like someone probably was with them. Jasmine went one way and Nancy went another way, but they're not here right now. Because if you look at the other video, both of them were like on that second row. But let's play the video and see what they said as a response to this.
What the gentlelady said was, we can take this outside if you want.
And they're laughing at that. Like they're laughing at it because they're finding it hilarious. Like, look at this black dude right here. He is cracking up.
What the gentlelady said was, we can take this outside if you want. And
okay. Oh, my bad. I didn't even see Nancy is right there. My bad. I'm looking in the wrong row. Nancy is right there. I didn't see her.
So
that could mean you could go outside and have a cup of coffee, or
no. What you're not going to do is insult my intelligence. You heard what he just said? He said the young lady said, let's take it outside. He said, for all we know, that could mean let's go outside for a cup of coffee. We're not about to do that. You're not about to do that. You really gonna sit up there and say the reason that she said that was because she wants to go outside for a cup of coffee? Are you serious? Everybody in that room knows exactly what Nancy meant when she said that. She wasn't asking for that woman to go have some coffee. Really? If you want to have coffee with somebody, you would plainly say, hey, let's go get a cup of coffee. Don't say, let's take it outside. Really? Now, let that have been Jasmine that would have said that to Nancy. Oh, it would have turned into something completely different. But here's the thing, though. Even though it was Nancy that said it, Nancy still got more protection. And they still made Jasmine out to be the bully. So even when Jasmine Crockett was not saying anything or making any threats of physical violence like Nancy clearly was, Jasmine was still the bad girl. They still found a way to make Jasmine be the villain.
Or perhaps a beer, or
a beer. So we went from coffee to beer. Really?
You know, I mean, we have
seriously
lots of conversations outside. So I'm going to rule that that it was just a.
See, Comer, he's stumbling over his words because he knows what he just said was a load of crap. He can't even get his words together because he knows that's not what Nancy meant. He knows what she meant. And I don't know if you heard it, but let me rewind it a little bit because somebody interjected when he was saying that and said, seriously.
A cup of coffee or perhaps a beer, or, I mean, we have.
Seriously.
You heard someone there say, seriously? I don't know who that guy was, but I believe he was the person that was trying to, I think he was on Jasmine's side in that instance and was basically saying, look, Nancy said she wanted to take it outside. We know what it all means. And when he said seriously, he was like, really, Comer, are you really going to sit up here and insult everybody's intelligence in this room and the people watching by saying that when Nancy said, let's take it outside, that she was referring to, let's go get some coffee or a beer? The fact of the matter is they're giving this woman so much protection and so much cover, and we know why.
Lots of conversations outside.
I believe he was, RD. He sounds like it, but I believe he was. He's off camera, but I believe that he is.
So I'm going to rule that that it was, just a.
That it's okay. Okay.
That it's okay. Just a.
That it's okay.
That it's okay.
That it's okay. Literally. That it's okay. I don't know if people realize what just happened here, but now that this is setting a tone right here, you're basically saying that you can, in a professional setting like this, make open threats to somebody like that and get away with it. I want people to keep this lodged somewhere in their brain, in their memory bank. So if something ever pops off like this again, and like, let's say Jasmine's the one that's quote unquote doing it, and they try to go a whole nother direction than what they did with Nancy Mace, remember this video clip right here. They just set the tone. That's why I keep telling you, when they allowed them to get away with so much, you got to remember that for the future, because it might happen again. And what they're going to do is they're going to try to flip it and try to say, oh, that didn't happen. I mean, shoot, why not? They already bastardized the word woke. They already basically made up whatever they can when it comes to DEI, CRT, and all the other ones. So now, according to him, take it outside means to like go get a cup of coffee or a beer. Shoot, look at what they did recently with Elon when he did that salute. My heart goes out to you. My God.
Okay.
All right, and then point of inquiry.
And remember, this is a slippery slope you're going down, because we have.
Oh, you're going down the
committee,
slippery
as
slope.
you know.
So just to be clear, in this committee, we can ask, we can threaten violence on someone as long as.
No, that's not.
Excuse me.
I did not.
Oh, my bad, RD. I was mistaken because the guy was off camera, but I couldn't tell by his tone. It's a black dude that's standing up for Jasmine. This guy right here. Because I didn't know they were going to pan the camera out. I thought they was going to keep it on Comer the whole time. It's this dude right here. I can tell it's kind of far away, but I can tell by that cut and that fade. That's a black dude right there. That's a black dude that's sticking up for Jasmine. Let me rewind that.
Clear in this committee, we can ask threaten violence on someone as long as
that's not.
Excuse me.
I did not threaten violence.
Excuse
I
me.
threatened.
Now look at what Nancy just did. I did not threaten violence. I did not threaten violence. Yes, you did. You said, let's take it outside. And you threw your mic down. Like you was ready to hop out of that chair. So now she's sitting up there lying.
No violence. I threatened no violence.
There was no violence.
As long
no
as
violence.
at the end.
I threatened no violence.
None.
None. You're making shit up as you go along.
Now look at her. She cursing. Hold on now. Order in the court. I mean, I know they're not in court, but order in the court. I don't have a gavel, but I hope y'all can hear me banging my pen into my mic. You heard what she... and they said Jasmine was ghetto. Hold on. Wait a minute. I didn't even see this part.
As long as at the end.
I threatened no violence. None. You're making shit up as you go along. You might want to figure this one out.
Order. There was
Mr.
I thought
Chairman.
you were cursing today.
no violence.
Look at her. So you went from saying like let's go outside and I threaten no violence. You're making ish up. And the guy said, oh, so now we're cussing now. Now we're cursing. Man, let me tell you, the jokes write themselves. They really do. Now, I wonder if any of the people who had anything to say towards Jasmine and her behavior had anything to say about Nancy and what she just did right here. Probably not. Isaac, yeah, she is definitely out of order. And Nancy been out of order, to be quite honest with you. This isn't her first ride at the rodeo. KG said she's from Waffle House. Yes, I forgot. That woman did used to work at Waffle House. Yeah, Nancy comes from very humble beginnings. Let me read what some of the comments are saying. Someone said this is like an episode of Desperate Housewives. Someone else says, they said, they know what Nancy meant, yet they're cleaning it up so they won't have to throw her off the committee for threatening a colleague from across the aisle. Someone says, Representative Nancy Mace, keep demanding that dignity and respect for yourself up there on the Hill, you hypocrite. You say you want it, but you don't. You have something against Hall-T individuals, and you think we're too blind to see what you're doing. And I'm going to go into the story about Hall-T, because then you'll understand why she has an issue with them. Someone else said, stay trashy. Someone said, oh, James, as in Comer. No one is buying that it wasn't a threat. Someone says, my money is on Miss Crockett. Another person said, my money would be on Jasmine Crockett for the record. Someone said the profanity, the outbursts and bullying are over the top and unacceptable. It shouldn't be ignored and overlooked. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're ignoring it and overlooking it like it just did not happen right there in front of their face. Is that she's not above being ethical by no means. And it goes on and on, but they were basically cooking Comer under that comment section. But before we get back into all of that, let's go into the backstory here about why Nancy Mace had an issue with Jasmine Crockett and her taking up for Hall-T. So we're going to go back a couple of weeks. We're actually going to go back to December of last year. Nancy Mace, it says Mace activist dispute handshake that resulted in arrest. Y'all, I have a feeling y'all are going to be throwing a whole bunch of laughing emojis in the chat at this article. I have a feeling that's what's going to happen. A disputed handshake is at the center of a Tuesday incident involving Representative Nancy Mace from South Carolina that resulted in an Illinois man's arrest, according to a police report and a witness who spoke to The Hill. Mace, who made headlines in recent weeks for advocating against transgender women being able to use Capitol facilities that match their gender identity, said on the social platform X that she was, quote unquote, physically accosted by a pro-trans man. Capitol Police confirmed that 33-year-old James McIntyre of Illinois was arrested Tuesday in connection with the incident, which took place at a foster care youth advocacy event. But witness Elliot Hinkle, who is transgender and has experience in foster care, disputed Mace's characterizations of the interaction. Mace, who is one of 6 co-chairs of the Congressional Caucus on Foster Youth, spoke at the event in Rayburn House Office Building on Tuesday. The Illinois chapter of the National Association of Social Workers named McIntyre a Public Citizen of the Year in 2019 for his foster care youth advocacy, the imprint first reported. As she went to leave the room, James met her by the door where people could see her and him to say, trans youth are in foster care and they need your support, and gave a handshake and then walked back to his seat and sat down. Hinkle told The Hill, noting that 30% of youth in foster care are in the academy. It seemed a pretty normal interaction from those of us who witnessed it. A Mace staff member returned to ask McIntyre's name, and when he said to Mace, Hinkle said. Soon after, Hinkle said Capitol Police showed up with an overwhelming presence and eventually arrested McIntyre. Capitol Police, who have dealt with an increase of threats against lawmakers, told The Hill, we take the protection of members of Congress seriously. A police report of the incident also documented Mace's account of the handshake, which had a more aggressive interpretation. So basically, Nancy Mace is saying she was harmed by this individual because I guess the handshake to her was too aggressive. This is the same woman that said to Jasmine Crockett, let's take it outside. The victim, Mace, offered their right hand to the individual to shake hands, and upon their hands coming together, the individual placed their other hand on top of the victim's hand in a clasping manner so that the victim's hand was between both of the subject's hands. The victim stated that the subject began to aggressively and in exaggerated manner shake her arm up and down in a handshaking motion. The effect of the motion was described as her arm flailing for about 3 to 5 seconds. The victim stated that she attempted to pull her hand away from the subject, but was held in place by the subject. The report continued. During that shaking motion, the victim advised the subject stated trans youth deserve advocacy. Mace told police that she was experiencing pain in her wrist, arm, and armpit/shoulder after the incident, according to the report. Hinkle, however, said the handshake did not seem aggressive. It looked like a benign handshake, they said. McIntyre was arrested Tuesday. Hold on, y'all. This thing just kind of jumped all over the place. Hold on. I don't know what, but I hate when stuff pops up and it knocks you off of the thing. Hold on. Okay, I found it. McIntyre was arrested Tuesday and charged with assaulting a government official. Capitol Police said on Wednesday, McIntyre pleaded not guilty to the charge in D.C. Superior Court. Asked to respond to Hinkle disputing Mace's characterization of events, Mace spokesperson Gabrielle Lipsky told The Hill in a statement, with an ongoing investigation, we're limited in what we can share beyond what Capitol Police have already made public. The Congresswoman is in pain this morning with her arm in a sling, but she's otherwise doing well, just shaken up. What's even more disheartening is watching the left and their media allies deny this even happened, propping up misogyny instead of condemning violence. Mace was spotted wearing a sling in the Capitol on Wednesday and posted on Twitter that President-elect Trump had called her to check on her. Hinkle expressed disappointment in Mace's reaction. It sends a chilling effect to our young advocates who are on the Hill being told it's safe to share your voice, to speak to your elected representatives, to share your perspective and be heard. Only to find out that they might have the police called on you for sharing your perspective, and you might have someone claim that you assaulted them when you just shook their hand. Mace has made headlines in recent weeks for her opposition to halting women using bathrooms in the Capitol complex that match their gender identity, and have been very vocal on social media about digging in on that stance in face of opposition. Mace's position was a response to incoming Representative-elect Sarah McBride, who was set to become the first openly Hall-T member of Congress, and resulted in Speaker Mike Johnson announcing a policy that restrooms, changing rooms, and locker rooms are reserved for individuals of that biological sex. So she already had a bias as it is. So when Jasmine brought up Hall-T, that was a trigger moment for her. Well, here's the thing, DeMarcus, because you said it's a cause and effect, because if Jasmine Crockett never said child, Nancy Mace wouldn't have responded. Well, here's the thing. She wasn't calling her a child. Nancy Mace knew that. But she decided to make it very dramatic because that's the type of person she is. That's why I read this article, because she's being dramatic right here. The woman should go into theater. She should be on Broadway with how dramatic and theatrical she is. This woman up here talking about let's take it outside, but apparently she got some person arrested for shaking her hand, quote unquote, too aggressively, and it now being in a sling. Now let's go into something that Nancy Mace shared on Twitter. This is her response. This is the post that she made up shortly after. She said, "There's been a lot of speculation about my intentions during a heated exchange on women's rights earlier today on Oversight. Let me be clear. I wanted to take the conversation off the floor to have a more constructive conversation, not to fight. Couldn't tell by the way you responded. At no point was there any intention of causing harm to anyone. Then why did you say, let's take it outside then? I was just assaulted by a pro-trans man a few weeks ago, and I'm still in physical therapy for my injuries. I couldn't tell by the way you slammed down that microphone. You talking about you want to take it outside, but you supposed to be injured. Now, how are you going to take it outside, quote unquote, and you got your arm in a sling? You can't be injured that bad. I know firsthand how the left is capable of doing real physical harm." So that's what Nancy said. Now, Jasmine came back and said this. Nancy Mace loves the quote unquote uneducated, as Trump calls them. Now, that's interesting because Trump does call his base poorly educated. He has said that. Please explain to me how the same damn Karen that called Capitol Police on a child who shook her hand wanted to act like she wanted to fight me. Me, the same person who has represented real killers in court. She's an attention-seeking loser who clearly has some fundraising goals to hit. And to be clear, that is the only thing that she will hit. Side note, Republicans incite violence from the highest level of government and also claim to be the party of law and order. The two cannot be true. Do yourself a favor, decide to require better of your electeds. Last I checked, threatening members in a committee room doesn't exactly reduce the cost of eggs. So that was Jasmine's response to Nancy Mace. Now, the last thing I'm going to go over is this post right here coming from this woman named Annette Albright. Now, I have a video coming up. That's not necessarily just about her, but she's a focal point of the video. And many of y'all may not know who Annette Albright is, but y'all are going to find out very soon who she is. She kind of reminds me of Laverne Spicer, like a lighter version of Laverne Spicer. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, to the women in the chat, this part, what y'all about to hear me read, this is going to really probably rile you up a little bit, to the point where if y'all come up and speak, y'all are going to really be talking about her. So this is Annette Albright, and Annette Albright is a Black woman. The first time I first learned about Annette, she was at the RNC speaking during the RNC back in July. And I think she's out in North Carolina, and she's another one of those failed politicians, another person, every time she ran for something, she lost. But let's see what Annette had to say. She says, "Allow me to tell you why I find this behavior out of order. For years, Black women fought to get elected to congressional seats, and they were denied because of negative stereotypes. Black women are loud, aggressive, uneducated, unprofessional. This is a Black woman saying this. They lack decorum. Therefore, they cannot represent at the highest levels of government. Black women stepped up and proved them all wrong. Fast forward to 2024, and now we have this clown, and she's talking about Jasmine, coming into the halls of Congress to put on a damn sister girl act every opportunity she gets a chance to, and it has nothing to do with her constituents. Jasmine is validating every negative stereotype about Black women that have been out in the air for years. Let me give y'all a spoiler alert. Annette Albright has all the smoke for Jasmine Crockett, but she's not going to say one thing about Nancy Mace. Again, allowing her to get off the hook. Jasmine for US is disrespecting the legacy of Shirley Chisholm and the others who cleared the path so that she and other Black women would have an opportunity to be elected to Congress. You know what's so crazy? If you look at Annette's timeline, she lacks decorum with the stuff that she says on here. And when I put the video up, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, because I made a post and Annette came under that post trying to, I guess, educate, and she got into a back and forth with the people under that post. And let me just tell you right now, the amount of times this woman said the N-word, you would have thought that this woman was straight off the street. But you'll see what I mean when that video goes up. What's going on, True Royal? And she's going to be up here talking about decorum. She says, I don't know Jasmine for any other accomplishments except for this antics she pulls during these committee meetings and hearings. Jasmine wants to be a household name, a superstar, but she hasn't done the work. The same could be said about you, Annette, because, like I said, this woman is a failed politician. Everything that she's ran for, she's lost. All she has accomplished is making it hard for the next Black woman who desires to run for Congress by publicly validating every negative stereotype that has been in the atmosphere for years about Black women. And for the people who are applauding this behavior, you are weird. Now, let me scroll down right quick, because it was a response that someone had gave to Annette that I want to go over. Let me see if, okay, here it is. So we have this person right here whose name is Vanessa. She says, just curious, who set the standards on how someone is supposed to act? I said that was a very interesting question. So this one person says, you and I do, Vanessa, all of us, of all cultures, religions, and skin colors set the standards. The word decorum has no racial or religious meaning. It simply means respect, and I'm confident that both you and I would feel disrespected if someone spoke to us this way. And Vanessa says, yep, decorum and respect flew out the window a long time ago. But look at what Annette said to that. Remember, the question was, who set the standards for decorum? Annette said Congress rules and ethics committees. That was her response. This person says, thank you for stating what we were all thinking. With every action, there is a reaction. It says, boo, you know she didn't call her a child, so for you to say this after you said a lot about the other is very telling. And then they go into another like back and forth thing in here as well. Someone else says Mace was not correct in her words either. There is a mode of decorum expected in chambers. There's proper English to be spoken, no slangs unless quoting or reference. It's like a fine dinner that you need to know what each silverware piece is for. Plastics not allowed. This person right here says to the question that Vanessa asked, not blacks. Someone else says, try Condoleezza Rice. That's the standard. So basically what they're telling us is that Condoleezza Rice is the standard of decorum for Black women. To the Black women in the chat, I got a question for you, and only the Black women in the chat. Is Condoleezza Rice the standard of decorum for you? Someone else says, don't be naive. Take your heart out. Use your mind on this one. So now you got people just putting whatever or responding however in the chat. Someone says, for a society to function, there needs to be agreement on how to behave and present. Same goes for institutions. I'm for diversity. Happy for a sister to be in Congress, but you got to be in to have any impact. And the way she is going, she will make no impact. So basically, all in all, to summarize what Annette said and how some of the people are responding, they are telling Black women you need to code switch when you get around white folks. Kind of reminds you of the movie Sorry to Bother You. I don't know if anyone in the chat has ever seen that movie, but if you haven't watched that movie, it basically talks about code switching. And if you don't know too much about Condoleezza Rice, she's the last person to talk about some decorum, because if you read that book, The Grift, it'll tell you some things. She might have presented herself one way, but those who knew her know otherwise. Someone said, well said, but this new generation doesn't care about what or who made sacrifices in the past to make their futures possible. They just feel like they are owed whatever they want. Let's see what those quoted posts look like. Someone says, remember that episode of Insecure where Molly tries to tell Rashida to tone down in the law firm and Rashida surpassed her without code switching a single day? This female dog, Annette, is a Molly. Someone said it's an embarrassment like no other. Jasmine Crockett and Fannie Willis are both trying to become a superstar household names at the expense of their communities. Someone says, worried about the wrong ish. That lady threatened her, and you up here talking about the use of the word child. Oh, please. Someone said, F your respectability politics. That was the word I was looking for. That was the phrase I was looking for. Respectability politics. It says we shouldn't have to be the model minority to be respected. We should be able to exist in spaces as we are, just like white people are able to. You validating these quote unquote negative stereotypes is upholding white supremacy. Someone says, you're too old to think respectability politics is or ever will earn us respect we deserve. It doesn't matter how well Black people assimilate. They will still call you a DEI hire. They only tolerate Black people who fall in line, such as this Annette Albright. Someone said, agree, she's an embarrassment, and so is AOC. Shame on both of them for humiliating Black women and Latinas. Someone said, well said. Thank you for taking time to write all of this. You are 100% correct. She negates what every woman tries so hard to achieve. Someone else said, L take. They said the white woman definitely threatened her and said, we can take it outside, all because of her misinterpretation of the word child. Here we go with the respectability politics. She qualified for her role, which is all that matters. White people get the luxury of speaking however they want in these spaces. Yet here you are enforcing the idea that we need to code switch in order to be quote unquote in order. Someone says you're a clown. That white woman was out of line completely. And it goes on and on and on and so forth. But I'm going to go ahead and stop it right there, because that was pretty much the last thing that I had as it pertains to that. But I'm going to drop the link right here in the chat. Oh, and before I drop this link, y'all, let me give a disclaimer right quick. I'm going to have to actually start limiting the time that people come up here to speak, because yesterday, and this is like no slighted to anybody, because a lot of people spoke for a long period of time, because the live yesterday went way over what I wanted it to, because usually I don't like to be on here for no 2 hours if I don't have to be. And we was on here for almost 2.5 hours because a lot of people came up and spoke, but a lot of people were speaking for long periods of time. And then that means they start to ramble and they start to go into other territories and whatnot. So we are going to limit the time that you can speak to 2 minutes. I have my phone right here. And once that 2-minute buzzer goes off, you have to cut your conversation. You have to cut whatever it is that you're saying. And I'm giving you 2 minutes. That means you should be able to get out what you need to say about the topic in 2 minutes. And it ensures that you stay on topic too, because that means you're on the time. Think of when people go on stage and they are accepting an award and they start to play the music. That's what we about to start doing. Again, this is no dig at anybody because most people spoke for a long period of time yesterday. It's just that y'all went, that live started at 6 o'clock and we was off of here like 8:30. So I have my timer. I'm about to put the link in the chat. 2 minutes. All right. Let's see. The first person we got up here is Hurricane Niecy. What's going on?
Now, you know I'm short and sweet.
Yeah, I know.
My opinion only.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I'm concerned, all them hoes, and yes, I said hoes, it's about themselves. It ain't about the people. So fuck them. That's all I got to say. I land my plane.
Shout out to Ms. Niecy for coming up and keeping it short and sweet. Now, see, that's how I would prefer it, but I know that's not the reality because I know people gonna have something to say. But this is Ms. Niecy. She's an anomaly. But shout out to Ms. Niecy. All right, next up we got Cosmo. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on?
Hey, in regards to this situation, I just wanted to say, DeMarcus Vaughn, in the conversation, are you serious? This is the problem here. You actually justifying Nancy Mace saying, let's take it outside, as if that's unprofessional, but you getting on the word child specifically. I question your identity, but that's the problem that I have with this whole situation. We got a code like codes for child isn't nowhere near. I'm saying, no, she said child. It's the most southern thing I've ever heard because my grandmother used to use that. So DeMarcus, come up here and explain yourself. And that's all I got to say.
Appreciate you, I'm sorry, Cosmo. I appreciate you coming up. See, y'all are getting it. Y'all are understanding this, and I really do have the phone in my hand, y'all. I really do have the stopwatch in my hand right now. When y'all come up here, I literally press the start button. All right, next up, the person who's usually first came in third today. They got the bronze and not the gold. Waller, what's going on?
There ain't nothing much. I had to change my avatar and stuff. That's the only reason why I won't first. But it'll be all right. Anyway, I echo Ms. Niecy 1,000%. This is just all performative because most of you politicians be hanging out, eating dinner, laughing and cackling with each other. So this ain't nothing. We all getting work. It's a work. Ain't nothing but a work.
Mm-hmm. All right, appreciate you coming up. Ms. Niecy said, what was your time? I think it was about 10 seconds. I think it was like 10 seconds. All right, next up, AW1, what's going on?
What's going on, Tori? What's going on, Chad? Yeah, this is basically Crash TV, man. We're not surprised that these people are racist. Of course they are.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like us. That's why we gotta. That's why we do the B1 salutes. But all I can say is, black folks just keep staying woke and be aware.
Okay, thanks for coming up. All right, next we got Goddess. What's going on?
Hey, Tori, what's going on? Salute to you, brother.
What's going on?
Yes. Well, this Mace lady is way out of character to invite someone outside. Everyone, even in preschool, knows what that means. And shame on Ronald McDonald with the white wig on for saying, maybe she meant coffee. Boo hoo hoo. Their comedy falls on deaf ears. And Crockett isn't a favorite of mine, but she's right on point for calling this lady out for what she is. And we all know they take both sides of the argument. Thank you.
Appreciate you. I'm loving this. All right. Next up, we got a legend coming up to the stage. True Royal, what's going on?
How's the royal family? Well, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. No tact and no diplomacy. That's how I look at this. Your how you presented everything and how this woman is coming off. She don't have no tact and no diplomacy at the end of the day. But what Crockett needs to watch out for is theater, and that I'm seeing her more and more on social media, and it becomes theater. Are you getting the work done? Don't be used as a form of entertainment. Right. So anyhow, let me bow out and let's keep it moving.
Appreciate you coming up. Shout out to True Royal for coming up. Wallow J said KG gets 30 seconds. I don't even know if KG is still in the chat. All right, next up we got Mansa Musa. What's going on?
Oh, snap. What's going on with you?
Doing good.
Man, so you ain't playing today. Nah, right. Stop watch. You ain't gonna keep talking. All that. Anyway. I ain't gonna lie, I'm super late. I missed everything. But I do want to say this though. She might get her little whatever was said. I'll check the replay out. But whatever was, I'm assuming that she got in shorty booty for saying something. Jasmine Crockett, I believe.
Yeah, you gotta go back and watch it.
But I'm gonna say this though before I get out of here. Listen, she'll get her brownie points for doing that, but this is the same woman that came out and tried to equate trans rights to black people as if it's the same thing. Yeah,
that's why I said earlier. I said many of us don't really care for Jasmine Crockett like that.
Yeah,
because we know how she can get down at times. But we're gonna call out the hypocrisy, because this was blatant hypocrisy how they was giving cover to Nancy Mace with what she said. And then tried to make it seem like Jasmine was the one that was being violent, or being the bully. But yeah, go back and watch it, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
All right, I got you. All right. Well, let me get up out of here. Time here and everything. Meatball season. We out.
Shout out to Mansa Musa for coming up. Oh yes. Tilda, you crazy? Oh yes, like I said, I'm enjoying this time, and see how quickly we're getting through this. And that just shows you it don't take you long to get to your point. It doesn't take you long to get to your point. All right, next up we got PD That Remains. What's going on?
What's going on, Torian? Hey man, as you always say, they both two wings on the same buzzer. Both of these chicks are vying to be attack female dogs, and one just gets more privilege over the other. That's all I say, and I'm out.
Appreciate you coming up. Miss Renee said, what did Jasmine say before this? It said, was she once reckless? Well, some of the stances that she gives, a lot of black people or a lot of black Americans don't agree with some of the stances that she is. Like someone just mentioned about like Halsey, like putting their issues over hours and whatnot, because that's what really the real back and forth was between her and Nancy. Well, Nancy just doesn't like Halsey individuals like that. Well, anyway, as far as the whole bathroom situation goes, based on what she says. But it's like you just have to go back and watch and look and see what stuff that Jasmine Crockett has put out there. But the thing is, a lot of people look at how True Royal just came up here and she says, is this theater? Like, what are you actually doing? Like, what are you actually doing in your position? You know, it's like funny and entertaining to see your theatrical antics or whatever, but are you doing the work? And that's really the question. Notice when I'm up here, that's why I wasn't talking about Jasmine Crockett's policies or whatever policies that she has. I was focusing mainly on the hypocrisy and how everyone came at Jasmine Crockett, but had no smoke for Nancy Mace when she said, let's take it outside. And then when they was trying to say, oh, it could have been for a cup of coffee or some beer. Then when the guy was checking James Comer, she up there cussing. Like nobody checked her. Like they literally let her get away with all of her antics. They do the same thing with Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's why I had to preface it that at the beginning, the disclaimer, this is not me saying I'm a fan of Jasmine Crockett, because I stated before in the past that I wasn't a fan of hers. When I did that video about her and Marjorie going at it last year in that viral video, that super viral video that went around the world a few times and back, I stated then I wasn't a fan of hers. Because I had did a video about Jasmine Crockett before that. If y'all go back and look at my channel, if you just go on YouTube and type in Jasmine Crockett Torian Reign, you'll see a video that I did on her before the Marjorie Taylor Greene situation, where I had something to say. As a matter of fact, let me go and see if I can find it. I'm not going to play it, but I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to find it. Hold on. I might have to go to my channel and hold on, y'all. Okay, here it is right here. It was a video I did over a year ago titled Jasmine Crockett thinks she knows what's best for Black Americans. The link that I just posted, the link right there in the chat. As a matter of fact, let me share my screen and you can see what the thumbnail looks like. So let me zoom in a little bit. So as you can see, I've only talked about Jasmine 3 times. The one with Marjorie Taylor Greene, and this one right here from over a year ago. And that's when I was checking her. And of course, this one that's going on right now, because that's the live. So for anybody who thinks, and that's why I had to check that Cornelius person at the beginning who said that I was shilling for white neoliberals because I was speaking about Jasmine Crockett because I wasn't talking about her in the way that they wanted me to talk about her. I'm like, if you look back through the archives, I did talk about her well over a year ago, back in 2023. Yes, Mansa Musa, the merch store is still up. As a matter of fact, since we're here, let's look at it. In case y'all were unaware, I do have new merch. You did see Mansa Musa, look what you just did. You done turned this into a plug thing. I do have new merch. And it has the phrase that pays, y'all. And what is the phrase that pays? The foundation of every grifter's grift is the degradation of Black people, especially Black Americans. We got it on shirts. We got it on bags, caps. I think it's some hoodies on it, but it only shows like the first 5 pieces of imagery. I think it's on some cups as well. As a matter of fact, speaking of shameless plug, let me just go ahead and post the link right there in the chat. I mean, why not? Since we're here. V said, I'm a fast typer. You can attribute that to my keyboarding class that I took in high school back in 05. Yep. When I was 16 in my sophomore going into my junior year, I had a keyboarding class. You had to know the home row keys. ASDF, JKL semicolon. RD said, finally, time limits. Yeah, I had to do it after yesterday. Yesterday, it dragged on. It dragged. I hate to say it, but it did. So for those of y'all out there that aren't familiar with the merch store, there it is right there. If you want to know how to get to the merch store, like after this, all you got to do is just click on my channel and then click the tab right here that says store. It's right at the end. It's next to the search bar and it's in between the membership tab and the search bar. And click that, and it has all of the merch stuff right up there, just in case people wanted to know where to go and find it. And shout out to DeMarcus for the 3, even though you was talking some nonsense in this chat, but I appreciate it. Lady Hotel said, OMG, you're a youngin'. Speaking of that, y'all had me dying laughing under that post that I made on my community tab when I did that Throwback Thursday post last week, telling y'all to guess how old I was in that picture. First off, let me just say I'm flattered that many of y'all thought I was 17 in that picture. But let me just say right now, in that picture, I was 21. A lot of people said that I thought I was 16. Some people thought I was 17. Some people thought I was 30. First, I was like, whoa, 30. I'm like, you looking at the quality of that picture and you thought I was 30? But nah, I was 20 in that picture. That was, and it's funny, Wallow J, you say that because I remember where I was when I took that picture. I was in one of the dorms because I was still in undergrad. As a matter of fact, I think that was the year I was getting ready to graduate. It was that same semester, and it was in February, so it was wintertime. And as a matter of fact, the hoodie that I'm wearing in that picture, I still have that hoodie. I still wear it to this day, as a matter of fact, because it fits. Because I made sure to buy it in a bigger size than what I was used to, and I still own it to this day, and it still fits, and it's still effective. But yeah, I was in a dorm. I was in like the little common area in the dorm where the TV is and all the stuff like that. That's where I was at when that picture was taken of me. It was actually a group picture. It was a group picture, but of course I cropped it out to have just me in the picture. I don't even think I have the full group picture anymore. Y'all are crazy in this chat. Mansa Musa said snatching aunties and mommies out here. And Wallow J says, nah, Torian saw someone that he liked. Y'all crazy. AW1 said, nice merch. Tamika, you can't use my talking point against me. You said Torian waiting for his AARP. You can't use that against me. And where's West Coast Barber? Because I'd be liking when she's in the chat, and I'd like to mention that AARP as well. Let me see if I can scroll down to that post. Oh, here it is right here. Yep, that's a young Torian Rain before Torian Rain was Torian Rain. Yep. Shout out to AW1 for being a member of the channel for 32 months. He says, you're the man, and I appreciate it. Yep, that was a young me right there. It's crazy to believe when you look at that picture, like how long ago that was. Because look, that's when I had the low cut. My facial hair was like almost non-existent. All I had was like I had like a mustache and a little goatee. Now I have a head full of hair and a full mustache and like a full beard. And I was skinny back in those days. You can see around the neck. I was skinny back then. Not rail thin skinny, but of course now I'm a bit bulkier. I'm not fat, but you know. Lady Hotel says, your voice matches your face. I appreciate it. Of course, my voice didn't sound like this even then. Appreciate you, Miss Nisi, for that. Darty says I look 19, 20. Yeah, like I was like 21 right here. Brother Man says, do you wear glasses? Oh, That's another thing that changed. I do wear glasses now. I usually wear the glasses like when I'm night driving, or when I'm reading something. But back then, I wasn't wearing glasses. AW1 says I look like that now. I appreciate it. I'm gonna probably do some more of these. I have a whole bunch of them on my Facebook. That's where most of my older pictures are, and I'm gonna start doing those and putting them up there just so y'all can sit there. It's just something more laid back to have a little fun with and see what y'all gonna say, because I know y'all gonna have some ridiculous, and y'all had some crazy answers and responses underneath that post. DSB said I look like a young Pac in that picture. Now that's a new one. I've never gotten that comparison. I never got that. That's a first. Usually whenever people say, give me a comparison, they always say Luda, like Neo Panther. I don't know if he in the chat right now. Everybody, and I do mean everybody, used to say I look like Ludacris. And look at what Tildall just said. Went from looking like Carlton to looking like Ludacris. Miss Nisi said, post an elementary school picture. Okay. I think I might have one. I think I might have one on my Facebook. I'll probably do that. And ironically, tomorrow is Thursday, so I might do it tomorrow, which means I'm gonna have to go on there tonight to find one. That's another one, AW1. Someone said I look like Kawhi as well. I've gotten Ludacris. I've gotten Kawhi. Who else have I gotten? It was somebody else. Someone said when I had my hair out that I looked like Maxwell. I don't know how that happened because I don't see it at all. I think it was just the hair. Oh, thank you, Mariam. She said more handsome than him. Thank you. I appreciate it. Y'all are making me, the ladies in the chat, about to make me blush over here. Yeah, but that is a young Torian Rain before I took on that name. Back then, Torian Rain, what was that? AW1 said, today is my birthday. Oh, well, happy birthday. AW1, it's your birthday, and you came up here and you didn't even say that. You could have said that in less than 2 minutes. But happy birthday. Make sure y'all say happy birthday or put some emojis in the chat for AW1. But anyway, y'all, let me go ahead and bring this stream to a close. I just wanted to go ahead and do that. It just kind of fell into that the way that it did. But y'all, shout out to everybody for coming through. Shout out to those who came up and spoke and all of that good timing. We will be keeping this timer. This timer is effective, y'all. And shout out to all the people that contributed to the chat. To the super chat. Shout out to DSB for making everybody a member and acknowledging himself as a member. Happy birthday again to AW1. To those who missed it, Anthony, y'all can catch the replay. We will be back on here tomorrow. We got the 10 a.m. premiere video coming tomorrow, and we got another top. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and flat out tell y'all what the live is going to be tomorrow. Why make it a surprise? Tomorrow's live is going to be about Aubrey and all of his antics as of recently. That is going to be the live tomorrow. So make sure y'all are locked in for that. Like I know you will be. And tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. And with that being said, everybody, y'all enjoy the rest of the evening. I believe Afro is going to be going live on his channel at 8 o'clock. So make sure y'all go ahead and head over there, because I know I'm going to drop in for that for sure. Because when I saw he's going to talk about it, I said, I'm definitely going to be locked in for that. But y'all enjoy the rest of the evening regardless. Stay safe, be warm. I'll talk to you all tomorrow.